uncocking the hands is the first and second accumulator would be both together. Elbow number 1, wrist cock 2. But what I feel first for myself is the wrist, and that straightens. So that's what happens there. I'm getting all the levers out with power. So that's an out of line condition for golf. My club's in line with this left arm, and then as I fold it up, now it's out of line. Well, it always wants to get back in line. So if I start slinging the club head, it wants to line up under this arm and underarm. See? So that's what that's about. So what I'm doing here is making sure that happens. When you start to run away with pivot and don't release it, Jake Knapp is like this when he's coming through. Very short arc, which is foldy down here, because he's got a bunch of swinging he's doing. Where you see the guys that are more firm here and coming off the body a little bit this way are hitting. A golfing machine. Yeah. There you go. Had a ball up this high. Ball's on the ground like this, like a 3D animation thing. And I load this back. I'm folding the wrist. The elbow folds. I wind it up, and then boom. By the time I get back to that ball, it's here. All right, so I'm not going like this. You start to hold, twist, and do this modern swing. You're not releasing the club, and you're not striking the ball, taking the divot, compressing, right? So this should be everyday practice right here, right there. Number 1 or 2 accumulators. Number 1, number 2 wrist cock. Okay. Number 4 is arms blowing this thing off. I'm not really rotating, so number 3 is out. So I'm using 1, 2, 4. Okay. 1, 2, and 4 accumulators. Loading the elbow, cocking the wrist, loading the left arm. That's 4. Then I start to uncock, feeling for me, which straightens the arm, the elbow, and forces the left arm to blast away from me. Very stable. Very cool. Love it. Little punch shots under trees. Got no room. Stop here, stop there. Stop here, stop there. Right on the sweet spot. Now I'm going to go as hard as I can. Okay. Uncock it. Right there. You see the force there. Now, the caveat by doing this stuff, because when you're swinging and you're pivoting and you're letting the club go, you don't feel the ground up and down. You kind of go across the ground. So there's some ground force things that kind of miss from there. When you're uncocking, thrusting, and hitting, you can see that's where Rory's body looks like this, right? Jake's body looks like around all the way, okay? So hitting in the golfing machine, boom, swinging in the golfing machine, folding that left elbow on the way through. Here's a swing. That was hit well. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Accumulators again. Bam, bam. Oh, when I'm swinging, I'm doing those too. Now the elbow doesn't straighten all the way. Okay, wrist cock, number 2. Elbow starts to unwind, but it gets delivered soft, and then swivel, tuck, roll, go. Back to thrusting, uncocking, using the ground, pushing away from the ground. Boom, Rory. There you go. So that's the variance, defining, right? And so how can I help you guys? So I'll give you the videos. Take the quiz. Actually, there's a quiz too down at the bottom there, defining whether you're maybe more edge, stack, and tilt, or the golfing machine. So here we go. We got the golfing machine, okay? Homer Kelly wrote that book. Great geometry book describing the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st accumulators that all add up to the most power, right? They're all used in the game of golf, but they've been defined and described. So I'm going to be hitting some balls here now. And Bryson DeChambeau was brought up understanding this system with Mike Shy out of Modesto or the Central Valley of California, and you know how far he hits it. So as a hitter, like a McElroy, the power accumulators can really help you get some power into the ball there. So it's called a power package. You're loading these accumulators and then you're firing them off, and the order in which you fire them, produces mucho power. Okay, so as a hitter or a swinger, you got a Jake Knapp who is working with centrifugal force, letting the club swing. You got a Rory McIlroy who's hitting the ball with a lot of muscle power. Okay, so kind of determining which you are. And right now, let's say you've lost some power and you're looking to apply some power. You can use these accumulators and define them, and then with a little bit of time, really start to produce some power that works for you. Okay, so the velocity of the club, you get the most velocity from wrist uncocking. Okay, that's where the most velocity comes. Now, as you undo the wrist, like taking a frisbee and throwing it like this, the uncocking straightens the elbow too. So you use 1 and 2 that can really blast a golf ball. Okay, so DeChambeau, well, he's the scientist, so he's done everything he can to hack the system. He's got every iron in the bag 7-iron length, and he sets up like this. He goes into one lever, which is the shaft up in line with this arm. This elbow slightly bent, and you can see he just starts pumping and getting ready to go, right? Well, the good thing about this setup here is that there's only really, it's almost like a Mo Norman's look, like this, right? That one plane kind of idea. Okay, but when you watch him hit this golf ball, it just flies. And the reason is because he's firing this left arm hard off the body. It loads on it and then bam. And when he throws that arm down, uncocks everything, that ball's out of here. So if you've lost some power, typically you're mix and matching components. And so let's say you're a natural hitter and you're a big burly guy and you played a lot of baseball. That's a hitter, typically a hitter, right? So swinging the club would be like letting it release, swinging the bat like this, hitting balls just like that. And hitting would be like a baseball player looking like this. A lot of delay, right? And then you get the barrel of the bat around a little bit later. So right now, I'm going to hit a few shots. First one is going to be chipping. I'm going to use the number 1 accumulator to chip. So when I just fold the elbow back, the left arm loads across the chest. That's number 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1, 4. Load 1, push 1 away, pulling back the 4th accumulator, which is the arm and the shaft together, just pulling it away like this, is loading number 4, and then you just push it off for a soft little chip. So if you have never defined what that is, now you have. Your right arm's doing this, and the left arm's doing that. End of story. Okay, that's going to give you a nice little green side chip. Okay, no more, no more do you, need to lean over here and set the wrists a little and tilt the shoulders. Nope. Get yourself set. We'll fold to the old right arm, bump and run. Here's a little 7-iron bump right there. Okay. Let's see. What if I did 1 and 2? What does that mean? Well, I fold the arm back, I fold the elbow back, and now the wrist cock. So I've loaded the wrist vertically on a tilt. So the wrists load on an incline. They're still vertically hinged. They're still hinging this way, but I've just tilted the shaft a little. You understand me there? So that's it. That's on the plane. So now it's like a judo chop. It's come right down. It's like, this feels great. It's like taking that frisbee, like I was saying, gripping it under here and throwing it down there. So I'm uncocking, throwing the frisbee. So I'm going to hit a punch shot doing that. And then I'm just going to keep the arms right here. Bryce DeChambeau. There you go. So there's a lot of thrust, right? There's a lot of thrust. And now, a swing would be winding the shoulders up, unwinding the shoulders, allowing the club to swivel in your hands quite a bit. And that's okay. If you're that player, then you need to design a certain setup and get your matchups together and go from there. So that would look like this. like Jake Knapp. Here we go. That's a swing. Plenty of speed in that. But you can see when I'm swinging, I'm folding the wrist, bending the wrist, folding the elbow, winding the shoulders. I start to unwind. There's no stopping at the ball. There's no thrusting at the ball. The right elbow stays soft, bent as the wrist starts hinging. And the other side folds. So it goes folding here, swinging, refolding, hinging, folding, thrusting, hinging, folding, thrusting. So when I lose my power, when I get a little bit like too turnsy, like in modern swing, kind of doing all this stuff, how can I thrust it down like that? I can't do it. So you end up kind of holding, not holding, trying to figure it out. So what I want you to do is understand about uncocking the hands, throwing the club under the hands, extending the elbow, no follow through. Punch. Right. Okay, TGM, golfing machine. I'm certified with Lynn Blake. Went down to Atlanta, did 3 days there with him, and it's just awesome. And then we did a golf school up here in Napa. We might do it again this year. So stay tuned. So you experiencing difficulties with your golf game? Did you know there are 3 major league systems that are used on the tour today, where the real-time adjustments are made by the tour players so that they can shoot better scores under the extreme conditions, and so can you. So just click the link down below. It'll take you to a free quiz. We'll determine which system is better for you so that you can hit your goals and drastically improve your game, just like a tour player. All right, we'll see you on the other side.